to create quality of life fast. Simple strategies to increase the quality of your life fast. Let's get into it. So there's a few elements we're going to talk about. These strategies are simple and straightforward. The first one that we're going to talk about is sleep. Second, we're going to talk about is hydration. The third one is a balanced diet. Fourth is movement and stretching within your daily life, not going to the gym. And the fifth one is stress management. Now, I'm going to give you we're going to talk about this, explain it, but I'm going to give you some really simple takeaways to put this stuff in motion to where you can start to feel that increase in the quality of your life quickly. That's what this is all about. So the first thing we're talking about is sleep. Sleep is one of those things, it's kind of misunderstood how important it is. We sacrifice sleep. We hear it's okay to sacrifice sleep. And there are times when we do have to sacrifice sleep, but when we really want to perform at a high level for a lengthy period of time, sleep has to be part of the equation. Here's the deal. You're going to have more energy. You're going to have more focus. You're going to have all the tools you need to perform at a higher level. Not to mention, it's even going to help you stay in better shape. It's going to help you metabolize body fat. Myself, when my sleep is on point, I am better at everything I do. Same thing with my clients. My clients, they're feeling good. They're more focused. They're burning up body fat. And they don't even know why. Well, here's the tip on how to increase your sleep. And the best part about increasing your sleep is you're going to actually sleep more efficiently, which means you're going to sleep faster, which means you're going to save time. For you guys and myself that are busy, that don't have enough time in the day, when we can create more time through proper sleep, it's pretty amazing. So, simple tip. How do we do it? We have a set wake up time. Well, now what we need to do is start working on a set bedtime. It doesn't have to be perfect. Set an alarm, roughly what time you're supposed to go to sleep. All that doing is just giving you time awareness. Hey, I need to start moving towards bed. A lot of times people have a 10 o'clock bedtime and they don't get to sleep till 12:30, 1 o'clock. And in many cases, that's the time that's wasted anyway. So let's take that time. Let's invest it into sleep. And you're going to see very, very quickly how it's going to pay. It's going to literally, what's going to happen is this, point blank. You're going to start to notice that you're waking up more refreshed. Then you're going to start to notice you're actually having more energy throughout the day. And then you're going to start to realize, boy, I'm waking up before my alarm. So you're sleeping less, but you're feeling better. And if you stay in this and you continue to let your body increase and get deeper into its circadian rhythm, you'll continue to develop this process of sleeping less, but feeling better. Now we've created time. So I can't tell you how important sleep is. And when you get a grip on your sleep, you're not going to want to let it go because it is really, really powerful for just overall quality of life, not to mention all the different elements that we talked about in terms of your quality of life. Number 2, hydration. Now, this one here, it's, I guess, put it bluntly, Google this. And the negative side effects of dehydration will go 2 pages long. It's unbelievable. Headaches, loss of energy, loss of focus. The list goes on. Well, here's the deal. Let's teach you how to hydrate in a way that's going to make it nice and even throughout the day. Very simple for you, but more importantly, very effective for your body. The big mistake that people make is they can tell they're dehydrated, so they start guzzling down water to catch up. What happens is the body senses, man, there's a lot of water coming in a short period of time. I need to start getting rid of some of this shit. So it starts the kidneys going to overdrive, is getting rid of water quickly. By that time, you stop guzzling down water, but your body continues to get rid of the water that it was afraid that was coming in too quickly. And now it ends up dehydrating itself. So you end up, in many cases, in a worse place than when you started. So here's the tip. And I can't tell you this thing. I'm actually giving you 2 tips. So the simplest way is to just make sure that you have a glass of water every time you eat. Okay. Now, if you're one of these people who And when I say glass of water, just don't overthink this. Just drink a glass of water when you eat. Simple math. If you're one of these people who doesn't eat often, or maybe you fast a lot, got a solution for that too. It's called a 4 bottle system. This is the one that I use myself. I use 1.5 liter bottles, and I basically know that each bottle represents a 4 hour chunk of my day. Now, it's never going to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you've created awareness. So you realize that your first bottle is the first 4 hours you're awake, and you, boy, I'm kind of behind in my water. Well, if you start catching up in that 4 hour block, you're not really having that big of a period you're trying to catch up for. So it doesn't do the negative version of hydrating, like I was talking about a minute ago, where people try to hydrate and it turned out to be a negative effect because they drank too much water a short period of time. So the 4 bottle system, each bottle represents a 4 hour chunk of your day. Or if you want to use one bottle and continue to fill it up, that's fine too. Again, it's awareness. That's all we're doing here is creating awareness. And that awareness will start to help you be more regular with your hydration, which is going to translate into a whole bunch of good stuff. One of the things that I noticed for myself and even my clients, if hydration's on point, the afternoon energy slump will be drastically less or possibly not there at all. So, hydration, so key. 2 simple ways, so 2 simple tips to put this strategy forward into your life that shouldn't take up too much time or space in your brain trying to figure this stuff out. Simple, straightforward. That's what this stuff is all about. That's what this video is all about. Number 3, balanced diet. Now let's not jump back and get all bent out of shape. We're talking about diet because it can be simple also. So what you want to think about is this. You want to think about feeding often enough that you're not allowing yourself to get hungry. That's the first thing. Is if you're allowing yourself to get hungry, your body basically goes into more of a survival storage mode, which is then going to really, it's going to limit your energy at that point. So let's remember that we want to keep ourselves from getting hungry. And then in terms of the balanced diet in general, the simplest way to balance your diet is to remove processed foods, because processed foods don't have the value. The nutrient value has been processed out of the food. And so when you're eating real whole foods, your diet will balance much more on its own. You don't have to think about it too much. So again, this whole video is about simple strategies. Well, in the balanced diet part, we've got 2. You're going to try to keep yourself from getting hungry, and the second part of this, the second way to do it is going to be to remove processed foods. Now let's talk about what is processed foods, just so everybody understands. Processed foods would be things that you're going to find in a box: crackers, processed foods. Um, Easier way to think about it is when you're shopping, you shop around the perimeter of the store. You have eggs, you have meats, you have vegetables. This is the kind of stuff you're looking for. Colors are very helpful in balancing your diet. But when it comes down to, just try to eat food that has a shelf life. That's not what look at it. If you can buy something and put it in your cupboard and it's going to be okay for months, that's going to be some variation of processed food, almost guaranteed, unless you're talking about nuts or something like that. Again, another way to look at this is single ingredient food. That's much deeper into getting rid of processed foods, but you literally can look at a single ingredient food like almonds, peanuts, macadamia nuts, broccoli, beef, chicken. Now, again, this is much deeper into getting rid of processed foods, going to single ingredient foods, but you're getting the picture. So balanced diet, another part of this video that is going to make this work really well. And don't get freaked out by the fact that it's diet, because diet, there's a lot of elements to it. There's a lot of challenge to it. We don't need to worry about that. Just worry about the simple stuff we talked about here in this video. Fourth one, the fourth strategy: movement and stretching in your daily life, not going to the gym. So how do we find ways to be more active and stretch just in what we're doing every day? Well, I'm using myself as a per example right now. I've got my right foot up on a chair under the table, so I'm stretching my right hamstring. Anytime I'm sitting at a desk, I'm going to find a way to stretch one of my legs. Now, it may not be possible for you. If it is, give it a try. It's multitasking. I feel I'm actually much happier when I'm getting some of the things out of the way, such as stretching, which I don't like to do, when I'm doing something like this, which I enjoy to do. So if you can kind of multitask and put something like stretching within the tasks that you like, it's quite easy. The second part of this strategy in terms of movement and stretching is the movement element. Well, how do we do this? We look for little ways to create movement without going to the gym, such as parking in a parking lot where you've got to walk 100 yards to get to the store, maybe 50 yards, maybe 30 yards, but you're walking. You're not looking for that spot close to the store, the front of the store. You're looking for the spot way out at the back of the parking lot. Now, if you're driving a nice car, it's going to keep you from getting door dinged. So you got two sides of the equation to this. The next thing is to avoid elevators, to avoid escalators, the little things in your life that you can do to create movement, they go a long way. And it's you, this will become habit very quickly. There are plenty of times you'll get on an elevator, like, damn it, I was supposed to take the steps. Well, don't sweat it. You'll learn. And for those of you thinking, man, I got to go up 15 stories. I'm not walking 15 flight steps. I get it. So hit the stairwell and walk 3 or 4, catch get a little winded, then get out of the stairwell and hit the elevator to the top. But every time you're taking an elevator, get a couple of flights in. Remember, this is simple, straightforward strategies to make your quality of life better. This isn't beat you up to try to get in shape. This is just really easy peasy stuff so you're feeling better. So, number 4, the stretching and movement is just going to be, again, being aware. Where can I stretch when I'm doing something else? What parking lots can I park in the back of? Because we live in these loops, I call it a 24-hour loop. It's day to day. And there's a lot of repetitive stuff. So if you start, you take the elevator up every morning, well, now start walking a few flights every morning. If you got to park your car in a parking lot, start parking in the back. You create these simple habits, they start happening, and bam, you've crushed this strategy and you're creating movement in your life and stretching in your life, and you're not even thinking about it. That's what this video is all about. And the fifth and the final strategy we're going to talk about here is stress management. And this one is massive. That's why I put this one at the end, because there's a lot to talk about. So here's the thing. We live in this world where we're constantly stimulated, overstimulated, and many times stress and anxiety is a big part of that. Well, when we are living in that state, stress, anxiety, our brains are literally releasing a stress hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is really, really unhealthy. Now, in little spits, that was fine. But when we have it like all day long, it's like an IV drip, because we're dealing with stress, we're dealing with being late, we're dealing with anxiety. And this stuff is a killer to quality of life, literally. I mean, it will promote you to not have the same type of energy and the focus. It will promote the body to store body fat. It'll promote the body to retain water. This stuff is terrible for your cardiovascular system. So what you got to understand is this. This is the really, really cool part about this strategy, is that the human brain doesn't have the capability to feel anxiety and stress or gratitude and happiness at the same time. So here's the first part of this strategy is if you find yourself wound up and you're just having a hard time with whatever it is, wound up, stressed out, filled with anxiety, whatever you want to call it, just take a few seconds, take a deep breath, close your eyes and think about something that makes you happy. Think about something that you're grateful for, your kids, your wife, the warm cup of coffee in the morning. There's so many things to be happy and grateful for. And what happens is, as you get that thought in your mind, it chases away all of the other shit in your mind that was releasing the cortisol. Okay. So by getting rid of cortisol, because cortisol has a massive physical effect on our bodies. Well, when we get rid of that cortisol, we actually start to physically feel better. Now, easier said than done. Okay, how do I implement this into my daily life? Well, you already have a few habits in your life. You eat, you go to the bathroom. So pick one or more of the current habits that you have and habit stack. So you say, okay, every time I go take a leak, I'm going to sit there and close my eyes at the urinal and I'm going to think about how grateful I am to have healthy kids. And whatever anxiety you walked in that bathroom with will disappear. And you've given yourself a little break from that cortisol. Now, when you go back to work and you walk back in your office, it'll start spooling up nice and slow again. But the difference is it went away and it has to start again. If that thing just keeps ramping up all day, you ever have those days where at the end of the day, you're just spent? You're just tattered. You can't focus. You can't think. You're physically beat up. That's because you've been bludgeoned by cortisol all day long. And this is just the way it is. So, this first part of the strategy here, in terms of just understanding your brain, understanding the fact that it can't do both at the same time, is really powerful. Well, another thing that you might want to think about, and this is something that I do, um, it's really, really profound. And I hate to use the word meditation because it takes a bad name, but I just literally in the morning or even sometimes midday, if I need to, I'll find a place to sit down. I close my eyes and I count. And all I'm doing is I'm counting 1 in, 2 out, 3 in, 4 out. And what happens is, obviously, in the beginning, you're not much is happening, but as you continue to do this and you continue to count, you'll see that you're actually number counting is slowing down. You're starting to your brain is starting to kind of clear out. Whatever was in there was bouncing around and starting to slow down. And in many cases, we just get so overstimulated. We're just like this and we don't even know it and we can't stop and we're having a hard time. Well, we've got to slow it down. This is when you're going to find a place to sit. I mean, if you need to, go to the bathroom and pretend like you're taking a dump and sit in there and literally trust me when I tell you, you get to 100, you're going to feel better. It's just almost every time for me. Remember, 1 in, 2 out, 3 in, 4 out. Next thing you know, you may be to 100, you're going to feel better. Sometimes I feel great when I get to 30 or 40. Sometimes I got to go well over 100. But the bottom line is, this is a really, really powerful stress management tool. So, again, there's 2 stress management ideas or strategies within this part of the video, meaning the 5th strategy. Forgive me, the 5th strategy that we're talking about. You've got 2 really good actionable items. So, that being said, remember, this is 5 simple strategies to create quality of life fast. None of this stuff is supposed to turn your life upside down. It's stuff that you can implement simple and easy, creating some awareness, and you have that awareness and you start to take these steps and make these steps actionable. You're going to notice a difference in the quality of your life. And that's what this video is all